What's up, guys? It's Danica. I am here in Texas. Specifically, I'm in Austin, and I am here for South by Southwest. If you watched one of my vlogs probably 3 or 4 months ago, I was invited to come to South by Southwest this year as a mentor, which means I have like sort of open office hours during the day. So today, I think, is my mentor day, and people sign up for 10-minute slots to come talk to me about their business or pursuing journalism or working in food media. So I'm really excited about that. Luckily, my mentor session isn't until the afternoon, so I get to spend the entire day going to seminars and talks and like hanging out with my friends who are also here. It's gonna be so fun. I can't wait. This time, instead of staying in a hotel at South by Southwest, the last time I was here was about 4 years ago, and I stayed at the Four Seasons because I was giving a panel talk and I was taking over someone's spot and they had a spot at the Four Seasons. Anyway, this year, instead of doing that, I decided to rent an Airbnb. Now, Airbnb is actually really hard to get in Austin during South by Southwest, but I was pretty lucky because I found out about my mentorship thing like a few months ago, so I booked really early. And I'm really, really close to downtown. I'm like literally right across the bridge from downtown where all this stuff is happening. And the Airbnb I rented is huge. I don't know if you can see behind me, that kitchen is like an open plan kitchen with like an L-shaped counter and everything. It is legit like at least 4 times bigger, excuse me. It is legit like at least 4 times bigger than my kitchen in my apartment in New York City. One of the things I love about using Airbnb is that it lets me experience living in like a sort of normal size apartment rather than a New York City studio apartment. Now, my apartment in New York, I'm very, very lucky. It is not a small studio by any means. It is a good sized studio, but it's still a New York City apartment, and they are much smaller than apartments in the rest of the world. Anyway, so I'm about to get going. It's actually kind of raining outside, which I'm disappointed by because I thought I was gonna be able to walk to the center, but I don't have an umbrella with me, so I might use a rideshare service. They also don't have Uber or Lyft here in Austin, which is wild. So yesterday when we got to the airport, the taxi line, I swear it must have been like 150 people deep. It did move pretty quickly, but it was crazy. So I don't know how they're managing this entire like 2-week thing. South by Southwest is huge. If you've never been here, if you look it up online, you'll see that it's education, there's film, there's interactive, and then I believe there is music after this, which goes on for like a whole week. I'm just here for interactive, so I'm here for 4 days. I'm gonna take you guys around with me, so let's go.
They're now 4 times as productive just when they start.
Because 5 minutes ago when I was in the bathroom backstage trying to figure out what to talk about up here, I was having one of those moments.
Hey, what's up, guys? It is day 2 of South by Southwest 2017. Yesterday, I didn't even get to close out the vlog because it was so crazy all day. It was pouring rain all day long. Like last night, there were no cabs running basically, or they were all at capacity. I don't really know what's going on, but it took us like a full like hour and a half to like get a cab and get home. I eventually hailed this South by Southwest Bud Light electric buggy, and the guy was like so nice. He drove me back to my Airbnb. My friend Kat was like staying further away because she was like staying in like South Austin, and it was so hard for her to get home. I heard that she ended up having to like get this crazy car. Anyway, it was complicated. Yesterday was really fun though. So I started the day, I picked up my badge, and then I had like a little bit of time to kill, so I walked around the convention center. I went to the reward style founders talk, which was really interesting to me because even though I worked in fashion for so long, I was never really involved in the affiliate shopping side of fashion, but I felt like it was really important for me to go see like, you know, how that could work with food media. So I went to go see that. I learned so much. She talked a lot about the concept of things that are universal in a mobile user's experience. And one of the things she talked about was screenshots. And so their new app that just launched last week is, you know, all about screenshots and like what you can do with the screenshot folder in your phone. So that was really cool. Then after the reward style talk, I ended up just walking around town a little bit because I really wanted to buy an umbrella and there were no like CVS's near the convention center. So I walked up to 6th Street. I went to like some souvenir stores. I always buy my little niece who is 2 years old. I always get her like a t-shirt or something from wherever I go. So she has this whole collection of t-shirts from like pretty random places all over the world. So I got her a really cute t-shirt, and then I picked up an umbrella, and then I got lunch at this amazing place called Russian House. It was super cool. Like I was like super like Soviet inside. So like super Russian from like the 80s and 90s. I ended up having an Uzbek plov for lunch, which was like lamb over rice with vegetables. And I also ordered this thing that I didn't even know what it was, but I just ordered it for the name. I think it was called like herring under a fur coat, but it was basically just like herring and beets, which was really good. So that was a nice lunch. And then I headed back to the convention center and I caught Casey Neistat's 3:30 talk. That was amazing. Obviously it's like Casey and he's like super compelling and he has a great story. I feel like I've like watched almost all of Casey's YouTube videos, so there wasn't like a lot of new information in there, but he's just so great to see live anyway and like so inspiring, and I left that like really pumped. So yesterday afternoon was my mentor session where I basically had like office hours that people could sign up for. I was really surprised before I came to South by that my office hour time slots were all like filled. And then I looked around and I saw that like most people's were all filled too. So I was like, okay, so like maybe they sort of like siphon people into these mentor sessions and stuff. But yesterday I was in a room with like 2 other people at the Westin in downtown Austin, and it was kind of amazing. I really love meeting people who are just starting their careers, who have questions about editorial, especially like digital editorial. I think it's really interesting because I do live like pretty siloed. A lot of my friends work in media and in editorial, so we really only ever hear that like one perspective, especially in terms of work life. So it was really cool to meet a bunch of people. And at the end, I thought it was really funny. At the end, the guy was coordinating the rooms. He was like, you know, making sure everyone was staying to time. He asked me, he like totally seriously, he goes, "Can I ask, what do you do for a living?" And I'm like, "Why?" I was like, "I work at Food and Wine." And he was like, "You know what? You've been the most popular mentor all day long." They've been running these mentor sessions all day and they have like 20 mentors at a time every hour. And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, you were totally like backed up, like back-to-back people," which I felt like really good about because I feel, well, first of all, everyone loves food and wine. Everyone loves the brand Food and Wine, so I'm not surprised. But I also feel, I feel like it's nice to feel like people are interested in what you do. I don't know if that's kind of like a lame statement, but I was like pretty chuffed about that. Anyway, so after that, I met up with my friend Kat. She used to work at Glamour and now she works at Old Navy in San Francisco. So we met up for a drink and dinner, and then our friend Anne, who we also used to work with at Glamour, came after her dinner to meet us for a drink. And after that, that's when it took us like forever to get home in the rain because everyone wanted a cab and there were just no cabs in Austin. I'm a little bit worried about tonight because I have another dinner tonight. And I don't know how I'm gonna get there and back because it's not like in the middle of downtown Austin. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't rain today. It is really early in the morning. It is 8 o'clock in the morning, but it's daylight savings. Daylight savings started today, so it's like really my body feels like it's 7. I did go to bed decently early last night, like 11:30. I'm gonna try to head to the convention center now, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get a wristband for the Joe Biden talk, which is happening this afternoon. So in order to go to the Joe Biden talk, you have to like line up at like 8 o'clock in the morning to get a wristband to be able to line up for the Joe Biden talk. And I looked on Twitter and there are already tons of people already lined up. So I don't know if I'm gonna get a wristband, but my play is as long as I get a wristband, I can go super early to line up for the actual talk. Like the wristbands aren't like numbered or anything. So I'm gonna try to do that now. Let's go.
Maybe you should take that 700 words and go write another story about, you know, what Congress is doing with the healthcare bill. Maybe you should take that 700 words and go write a story that's more meaningful and important.
This is good. For a while, the settlement with Peter Thiel and Hulk Hogan and lawyers was concluded about a week before the election.
This many people. But in all seriousness, your presence speaks volumes. Volumes. It tells me that so many of you have a...
So yesterday was such an amazing day at South by Southwest. I started the day like really strong. I met up with my friend Anne and we went to the New York Times panel where the executive editor and the media editor sat down and they talked about what it's like to cover the government now in our political climate, which was super, super insightful. I stayed on after that for this panel called Life After Gawker, which was Nick Denton, who ran Gawker Media, who owned Gawker. I was a huge Gawker fan, and I know that their practices and like what they decided to cover it was pretty unconventional and oftentimes controversial, but I really enjoyed that visceral, like no holds barred journalism and that sort of like nothing is off the record approach to reporting. So I was actually really sad when the whole lawsuit happened earlier this year, when Peter Thiel, the billionaire, funded a bunch of lawsuits against Gawker. And yeah, so I have a lot of feelings about that. But anyway, so I really wanted to see what Nick Denton had to say. He is a genius. He's super brilliant. I feel like he said a lot of things during the panel that were just like over everyone's head. And he got really, really deep. And it actually got kind of dark there for a second because I don't know, he just had a lot of thoughts that seemed like really plausible about the current administration. After that, I think, I went to lunch with my friend and we went to the Driscoll, which I love, and we got queso and I got a burger. It was so, so good. And then I went to go line up for the Joe Biden talk. Now, Joe Biden and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, they were here in town because they were giving a talk about their cancer foundation. I believe that Joe Biden's son not long ago passed away because of cancer. And I have never seen anything like this at South by Southwest, but it was, at the end of Joe Biden's talk, there wasn't like a dry eye in the house. Everyone was feeling super emotional. And that's something that doesn't really happen at a conference of this size and of this sort of like magnitude. I mean, it's like a music and comedy and film and interactive conference, and so many people here are so focused on networking and stuff like that. You'd never really have that human emotional moment, and I thought that was really, really amazing. And last night I went to this Lululemon dinner, which was really interesting because it was experiential, which meant like we ate our appetizers in silence with a bunch of strangers. It was actually really cool, and I really love Lululemon events, and I was really excited to be invited to this one in Austin. So yeah, today's gonna be another great day. Let's go. What's up, guys? It's Danica. It is South by Southwest Day 3. It is Monday. It's been kind of a crazy day because even though there were a bunch of panels that I wanted to go to in the morning, I realized late last night that I probably wouldn't be able to fly home to New York on Tuesday because there's this huge blizzard that's hitting the Northeast, and New York might get like 18 inches of snow. So I spent all morning rebooking myself on a Wednesday flight, which is like annoying because now I have to like connect through, I don't know, I just hate connecting when it's like a short flight. So I have to connect now through Houston, and I don't get into New York until like really late. I'm missing an extra day of work, which I really, really hate. And then I also had to figure out where I was gonna stay in Austin for an extra day because during South by, hotel rooms are like just really hard to come by. So I wound up booking this hotel room in the center of town, which is great, but it was so expensive. I'm just hoping that I made the right decision. I couldn't get a flat out today. Anyway, it was a really crazy morning. So I knew that this morning I was gonna go meet up with two of my friends, one who lives in Portland, who used to live in New York, and then another one of my good friends who used to live in New York and who recently moved to LA. So I haven't seen either one of them in like ages, and it was really good to catch up with them. So instead of going to panels, we actually ended up just getting coffee and going to lunch, which was super great. And sometimes, like, you know, I don't really need to see John Cena and, you know, Marc Jacobs talk about stuff. I see them all the time on the big screen and the small screen. So it was actually really nice to catch up with friends. Now I'm back in the apartment. I don't have another panel until 3:30. I'm actually really excited to go see, it's Julian Solomita's panel, and I watch him all the time. I don't know if you guys watch him. He's also a YouTuber. He is Jenna Marbles' boyfriend, and he does a lot of daily vlogs. I love Jenna Marbles so much so that I have, like, she has all those dogs. Like, I have one of her dogs, like, pop things, the things you put on your back of your phone. I have like one of those on the back of my phone. Kermit's like little, you know, pop thing to help you hold your phone. I'm so excited for that, but that's not until 3:30, so I have a few hours to kill, so I thought I would come and I would film this closer. I don't think I'm doing a whole lot more at South by tomorrow because I was supposed to be on a plane and going back to the office tomorrow. I'm hoping that after I check out of the Airbnb and check into the hotel, I'll have time to like sit down and like do some work. I have a lot of things to catch up on because I've just been out of the house basically for like 14 hours at a time the last 2 days. It's so great to be in a place like this where there are so many people who are like-minded and are like, they really care about solutions-oriented, like anything. So there's solutions-oriented journalism, media, you know, tech. And last night, like yesterday at the Joe Biden talk, he talked about cancer and his Cancer Institute. And I think there's so much going on here. What I really like about South by is that it's really collaborative. So you get people from all these different sort of siloed industries, get them together, and everyone has ideas. These are like some of the most creative people in the world. And it's been really interesting to be here and talk to people and to be in these panels and to you know, see people and talk to people that I don't usually get a chance to spend any time with. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing today, and I think I'm gonna close out this vlog. Tomorrow will be a whole new setting. Like, I'm obviously still in the Airbnb now in the apartment, but tomorrow I'm gonna be back in like a traditional hotel room, which I'm kind of excited about because I just want to be in a very, very controlled space for a little while. I booked myself a room that has access to like the executive lounge, so I can park myself in there, and there's food, and I can like do some work and stuff. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe, and I will see you soon.